Counselors and psychotherapists are practitioners that generally assist people with less serious mental health issues. Counselors typically have completed qualifications in counseling, while psychotherapists may have qualifications in a variety of areas. Clinical psychologists are also practitioners of mental health, but they tend to work with clients with more serious issues, such as psychological disorders, that are specified in leading manuals like the DSM. However, the term psychologists is very broad. Many psychologists help clients achieve outcomes that have little to do with mental health, such as organizational psychologists and sports psychologists. Some psychologists are not practitioners at all, and instead conduct research to better understand human behavior. Neuroscientists, typically researchers and not practitioners, they conduct research to understand how the biological brain influences human thought, feeling, and behavior. Psychologists examine similar things, but are more focused on the mind rather than the brain. There are many different specializations in the practice of psychology. For example, the Psychology Board of Australia recognizes and endorses 9 such specializations: clinical neuropsychology, clinical psychology, community psychology, counseling psychology, educational and developmental psychology, forensic psychology, health psychology, organizational psychology, and sport and exercise psychology. Yes, psychology graduates can also find employment in both commercial and public sectors. Business functions that employ psychology graduates include marketing and human resources. In the public sector, psychology graduates can be involved in research and policy work. The Master of Psychology clinical program offered at James Cook University in Singapore is in clinical psychology. Clinical psychologists are employed in a wide variety of settings across both the public and private sectors. SPS is the Psychological Society for Singapore. They implement and maintain a voluntary register of practicing psychologists known as the Singapore Register of Psychologists, SRP. Being a member of SPS and being a registered psychologist are not the same thing. For more details, we'd recommend that you visit the SPS website. No, in the vast majority of countries, the minimum qualification required to practice as a registered psychologist is a master's degree. But different national professional bodies for psychologists have different requirements for registration, so it's best to check with the bodies themselves. The Bachelor of Arts majoring in Psychology Studies offers a broader and more flexible way of studying psychology. Students have the option of taking more social sciences subjects instead of some of the psychology modules. The Bachelor of Arts majoring in Psychology Studies is not accredited by APAC, the Australian Psychology Accreditation Council, while the Bachelor of Psychological Science is. The Master of Psychology clinical program will require you to have a 4th-year honours degree with a major in psychology or equivalent to gain entry. However, you may wish to consider our Master of Psychological Science program instead if you have a basic degree in psychology and don't wish to work in a clinical setting. No, they may get voluntary work experience, but there isn't an internship as such because it doesn't appear on their academic record.